Hi everyone, this is Ingrid from Old Town Charm. Today I will be doing a activated charcoal and tea tree soap. I'm going to be doing this with the hot process method, or as some call it, fluid method, just because I don't use a crock pot. I use my blender and my oil and my lye water at a very high temperature. And when I mean high temperature, I mean both oils and the lye water solution are at pretty much 195 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. Now, hot process is different from cold process because when you mix both lye water solution and the oils at a high temperature, and you mix with a blender also at a high temperature, what you're doing is you're speeding up the saponification process. It cooks the soap faster, and you don't have to wait the whole 3 weeks, 4 weeks to cure or to actually know that it is soap. Once you blend on high and both the lye water mixes with the oils, and of course you have a chemical reaction that boils up, you'll see how it becomes a volcano. You'll see that it looks pretty much grainy at one point, a little bit more like mashed potato at another point, and then at the very end it looks like a Vaseline consistency. And that's just because it just went from liquid form to the stages to become soap, which is saponification. Now you want to blend this on high because it does make the chemical reaction quicker. And you want to, you see here it's still very liquidy, but you want to make sure that you get at least a light trace or a medium trace. And once you hit the medium trace, then of course you will cover it until you see the reaction and the bubbling and the volcano forming. Now, what is trace? Trace is when you finish blending with your stick blender and you pull it out, you can make squiggly lines with what's left over. And if it doesn't sink into the batter and you see that's still hanging on top of the batter, that means you reach trace. Now, there's different type of trace, light, medium, or a very thick trace. You'll see the difference once you see it on top of your batter. This one right here is a medium trace, which is perfect. And of course, for different process, it's different. I'm very careful when I'm doing cold process and I want to make a lot of design. I try to just let the oils blend with the lye water and not even hit trace, just emulsion. But if I'm doing one color and I'm just putting one fragrance, I don't mind it going to light to medium trace if you're not going to do too much design. I'm very careful with cold process. If I get to a thick batter, it's going to be harder for me to pour on my mold or to do a design. So trace is very important here too. Now for hot process, I leave it medium trace because the heat is what's more important. So I just cover this after I find medium trace. Once you cover this, you'll see this traps the heat inside the pot. So it helps with the chemical reaction. It helps speed up the process. Right now it's at 170 degree, but you'll see later on how it goes from 170 to 190 to 225. Make sure that you're always close to your soap batter at this stage, just because the reaction can happen at any moment. When the oils are really hot, like 200 degrees, it happens super fast. Sometimes when the oils, like mine was at 195 when I started, it takes a little bit more time to do the reaction, but still be careful, stay close to it. You don't want this to overflow. As you can see, bubbles are popping up, and that's because it's just boiling up. And when it boils up, it can overflow, fall into the table, and it's just a really bad mess that you have to wait until it cools down to clean up. This is right now very hot. You see 219 degrees. So it's very important that you use, I'm not using it now, bad of me, long sleeve, your gloves, your goggles, because you don't want to get burned. Now, another thing that I want to mention is, that this is not soap yet, because when you are mixing it with your spoon, the batter falls very easily. You see? When it's actually saponified and it's soap already, it passed gel phase, everything is done, it sticks to everything. It sticks to your spoon, it sticks to your pot. It's not easily to clean it up. You'll see that it looks like Vaseline also. I use my stick blender multiple times, and this is just to accelerate the reaction. It helps make the soap actually even faster. So again, another reaction is forming. The bubbles are bubbling up. The batter actually is bubbling up. The temperature now is extremely hot, 225. But again, what I'm doing here is trying to accelerate the saponification process. So it will go now to looking like a mashed potato, and to looking like Vaseline, and then becoming soap. At this stage, don't add any colors, don't add any fragrance, don't add anything. At 225 degrees, you're burning your fragrance, your essential oils. You're just gonna burn everything. This still falls very easily from my spoon, so I know it's not there yet. Once I see that it sticks to my spoon, then I know it's saponified. Now there's other methods you can use to check if the batter is saponified and this is soap. By buying some pH strips, you take a little bit of soap and you dip that into a glass, and you add some water to it. Then you dip your pH strip, and it will tell you if it's a good pH, and it's actually the pH that tells you that this is soap. So I'm going to use my stick blender one more time. I'm noticing that my mix is getting thicker, but just to make sure that there is no areas that hasn't been mixed, I'm going to go ahead and mix it. I'm testing it with my spoon, and I notice that it's kind of getting sticky to it, but not quite there. So I'm going to blend it one more time, and then you'll see how it changes the consistency. Like I mentioned before, now you can see that the mix is not falling off that easily from my stick blender. So I know this mix is already saponified. Also, a good indication that this is almost ready is the temperature is going down now. Instead of 225, it's 214. I'm just mixing it a little bit more with my spoon, not using this blender because it won't work with this blender anymore. It's just too thick now. I am going to wait until it cools down to add my other ingredients. But I wanted to show you, look at the spoon. You see how it looks like Vaseline sticking to it? It's not going anywhere. That soap is saponified. This batter is soap. I'm 100%, I'm not worried if I touch it and then wash my hands with it, it will not hurt me. What I mean, it will not burn me. The temperature will burn me, but the reaction, the lye is no longer lye. This is pure soap, so it won't burn me. Now I cover it because I'm gonna go and get my Greek yogurt. Now you can add Greek yogurt, you can add goat's milk. People also use coconut milk, which is really good. It helps the batter get a little bit more thinner, liquidy, so you can actually put it in your mold. And it's a very moisturizing ingredient. Greek yogurt, goat's milk, and coconut milk is very, very moisturizing. Another indication is the color change. It's no longer a white kind of creamy color. It's more of a golden kind of, it looks like if you just open a Vaseline. It's very glycerin, very shiny. The texture is different. But yes, this soap is ready for the next ingredients. So now that it's at 188 degrees, I'm adding my Greek yogurt. And this is a 6-pound batter, so I'm adding 3 spoons of Greek yogurt. Here I'm adding my activated charcoal. Again, this is a 6-pound batter, so I think I'm going to add, for now, it depends how light it comes out, maybe 2 spoons, probably 3 spoons. Let's see. Now I'm going to mix this very slowly just because the activated charcoal, it's very fine and it can easily blow everywhere, and the cleanup is so messy. I'm speeding this up because I don't want to bore you guys with all the mixing, but I did have to add another spoon of activated charcoal. I was checking my batter, it's just too much. 6 pounds is too much, so 2 spoons is not enough to make the right color, and also I don't think it's gonna be even, so I had to add 1 more spoon. Again, it's now 179, so it's time to add my essential oil of tea tree, and I'm also mixing this just to make it more of a great fragrancy soap. I'm actually adding also I think it's from Brambleberry Moonchild from Brambleberry. This smells really good. It has notes of grapefruit, bergamot, thyme, white tea, nutmeg, rose, honey, tuberose, and jasmine. That is amazing. So here I lined my mold with freezer paper. I'm going to be adding the soap to the mold, and make sure you always tap. Even though hot process is very different from cold process, you don't get that much bubble, but just to make it even and you don't have no pockets and you might get uneven soap actually when you cut it. Make sure that you always tap it once you fill your mold. This is 24 hours later, so I am taking it out of the mold and I am going to prepare to cut it now. Here are the results. Thanks for watching the video. If you would like to see more, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, and like and comment. Thank you.